A shot, and a beautiful one at that, of the vibrant metropolis that is Los Angeles. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's presentation of Noche Latina in the NBA. An annual tradition celebrating diversity and culture, and always a pleasure to bring it to you. Alongside mis compañeros, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. We've got a chance now for our starting lineups from point guard to center. This game should be a good one. First for the Magic, Nelson is out there with Mickaël Piétrus. And it's Howard in at the 5, roaming the paint. Then it's Hedo Türkoğlu, and it's Lewis in at the 4 slot. And for the Lakers, Fisher is out there with Kobe, and it's Bynum in at the 5 down low. Then there's World Peace, and it's Gasol in at the 4.
Clearly, Orlando was a team in transition last year. They had a group of younger, inexperienced players, and many times when that's the case, you'll get off to slow starts in games, and that certainly proved to be true for the Magic.
Clark, you mentioned that the Magic were at the very bottom of the league when it came to scoring in the first quarter of games. Steve, you got to get better as the game went on, obviously, but you can't start every game in a hole down like they did and expect to do well.
Well, we just go back to the roster, and that explains everything. I mean, you look at who they had, the lack of a go-to scorer out of the gates, and that explains the slow start. So this is really all about continuing to build the roster and try to put together some talent.
So the Orlando Magic able to put the first points up on the board. Knocks it loose. Here's Fisher, and it's sent back by Howard. Piétrus with it. Now guarded by Fisher. That's good.
They'll take as many of those looks as they can get.
The feed now to Bynum. Tries from the block, and good, as it just snugs right down through the net. We play just over a minute here in the first. Lewis a screen on Fisher. Nelson kicks to Piétrus. Offensive rebound. Outside for Lewis. Türkoğlu outside. Back to Lewis for 3. Out of bounds, the Lakers will take possession. And Doris Burke spoke with Mike D'Antoni. Doris?
He said their scouting report is really all about how to handle Dwight Howard. Obviously a tremendously impactful player at both ends of the court. Coach said, offensively, we always need to know where he is. Defensively, it's always about doing your work early, trying to hold your ground and deny him prime position inside. Sounds like a good plan to me.
Thank you, Doris.
Getting his hands dirty right away by doing some battling on the board.
Now here's Piétrus.
Tell you what, I don't know of any players that like to miss time during an NBA season, but no player especially wants to miss time because of a bowling accident. One of the bigger head scratches last season was Bynum's absence because of knocking over some bowling pins.
6 on the shot clock. Here's Nelson. Oh, that's blocked. Bryant against Nelson. And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Here's World Peace. Carries the long-range jumper. World Peace has got himself on the board with 3 there. And for Bynum, that setback with his knee suffered bowling. You don't normally think of bowling as hazardous.
Well, it depends how you play. Personally, I've always felt bowling can be very physical, but I play a different style. I know you probably just roll the ball down the lane.
What do you mean different? What do you mean different style?
I attack the pins. I'm aggressive as a bowler. You're probably just like you just take 2 hands and just kind of gently roll the ball.
Of course, you don't hit my back.
Defense pretty much helpless there, stopping that layup. I think too much of a mismatch in terms of height.
Fisher against Nelson. Kicks it to Piétrus. Good, and a nice assist from Nelson.
A good open look, and he splashes home the three.
1:43 left in the first. To the middle. Here's Kobe. And the bucket counts. He is on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
You know, it's interesting. Kobe, the last few years, has gotten very loose with his opinions. He's not afraid to say it like it is. And I think one of the inflammatory remarks he made that caught a lot of attention was when he mentioned that the Olympic team back in 2012 was better than the 92 Dream Team.
Now, here is Nelson. There's 1:26 left in the first quarter, and he gets it to go.
I like the offensive awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
And that was a bold thing to say going back to Kobe. Definitely got the media talking, Clark, about, you get the feeling he actually believes that they were better.
He might have been right. He might have been wrong. I mean, I think it comes back to the fact that Kobe has no problem saying things that might not be easily received. I'm not sure why anybody is surprised by that. I mean, you don't get to be an elite player without having very high confidence in your ability and your team's.
Leaps for it. Nelson with the steal. .105 left in the first quarter of the game. And he lobs it up toward the rim. Trying to go for an alley-oop, but excellent defense and anticipation there to stop it. Here's Fisher. Nice pass. Right into the rack perfectly for the layup.
Those defenders look like they're out of gas. They're getting pushed around on the low block.
Well, their energy is lacking. They've got to start playing harder and battle down in the paint.
Now, here is Nelson. 6 points for him. Here's Piétrus, and it's in after a nice bounce off the right side. Piétrus has got 5 points so far. Guys, no one team gaining control early on.
Give and take, back and forth, the whole way thus far.
Yeah, 6 lead changes already, and as Rasheed Wallace once said, both teams playing hard, my man.
Now here's Türkoğlu. Andrew Bynum unable to get his shot to go. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. And that one's good from Piétrus.
And that's another assist for a team that is putting on a clinic on how to share the ball.
I just love the mentality they've had. If a shot isn't there, they're not forcing anything. They're moving it side to side and working to get a good shot.
And out of bounds as Los Angeles gains possession.
Boy, did they ever make a mess out of that one. A terrible turnover.
Bryant with it. With 2 seconds left and blocked. Plenty of offense in this closely contested first quarter of play. It's the Magic leading by 3. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports. And buenas noches, basketball fans. It's Latin night here on 2K Sports. And you might have noticed the custom jerseys worn by the players. And when you consider how the Magic are doing, Steve and Clark, what do you think?
Yeah, this team is on the same page, no question. They're right where they need to be offensively.
And they're hitting their scores with on-time and on-target passes, too. That's fun to watch.
Well, Kobe's never been shy about shooting. A lot of people would argue that he gets maybe a little too shot happy sometimes, but you want a guy who's dominant. You want a guy who's not afraid, who's going to fail and just come right back and fire away the next time.
Now, here is Nelson, following the miss by Kobe Bryant. 5 to shoot. Here's Howard. He's good with the little jumper in close. Howard's got the lead up to 5 now for Orlando. And here we go with Derek Fisher. When you talk about Kobe's role offensively for the Lakers, it's worth mentioning last season was one of his most efficient scoring the basketball.
It really was, and you consider the turmoil that surrounded the Lakers all season. It was remarkable that Kobe was as even-keeled as he was. Stayed focused, and start to finish, he delivered the type of all-star performance that he always does. Very impressive.
And Los Angeles guys shooting the ball really well in this game, 58%. He dishes it to Fisher. Back to Kobe. He feeds it to Bynum. That's in, coming off an assist by Kobe. And it's 6 points for Andrew Bynum.
These defenders are not putting up much of a fight on the interior. It's been embarrassing. That's 10 consecutive points allowed in the lane.
And that's not the kind of streak you want to have if you're playing defense.
Such a wide open look. Türkoğlu's got his second bucket.
Nice kick out after the defense had collapsed on him.
Here's Kobe. That's good.
He's so reliable. His offense seems to be consistently there for this team.
Orlando lead it. We're now about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Pass to Piétrus. It's stolen by Bryant. Stolen by Piétrus. Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris.
Guys, the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that's used to attracting marquee free agents from other teams, not losing their own in free agency. But this offseason, Dwight Howard decided to move on, turning down a larger guaranteed contract with the LA Lakers. A tough blow for the league's banner franchise, who've taken out a number of huge billboards around town asking Dwight to stay. Sources said he wasn't overjoyed with the system the Lakers employed under head coach Mike D'Antoni, and also perhaps didn't enjoy playing alongside the always hyper-intense Kobe Bryant. Guys, we'll just have to see how big of a setback that becomes for this team's championship aspirations.
Well, we'll see if the Lakers can find a way. Thank you, Doris. And for those of you just joining us, we're almost 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Stolen by Lewis. Piétrus against Bryant. Bynum with the steal. He kicks it to Fisher. Drops in the layup for two.
All the points these defenders are allowing inside is inexcusable. It's 5 baskets in a row, and they've all been practically laying.
Yeah, they've got to harden and toughen up down there, guys.
And now the first timeout called here for the Magic. Orlando's gone 3 of 6 tonight when they've let it fly from downtown.
In many ways, the Lakers had what would be called the nightmare season in 12-13. Despite that, they protected staples. Playing in front of the Hollywood Stars has always been an energy boost for the Lakers, and they made the most of it even though they struggled away from home.
Now here's Kobe following the shot by Jameer Nelson. Stolen by Piétrus. 1:44 left now here in the second. Nelson against Fisher. Nelson kicks to Howard. Shot clock at 6. And the pass to Türkoğlu. There's the triple. And that one's good. Türkoğlu's got 7 now in this quarter. Clark, as you said, with the Lakers, very good at home last season in what would be one of their very few bright spots on the year. They go 29-12 in Staples Center, which did put them in the top third of the league for home wins.
Well, Kevin, when you come into Staples as a visitor for a Lakers game, there really is a kind of a different feel. I mean, if you're the opponent, you look up at all those banners, you look over at all the celebrities on the side, you know, that theater lighting. It's a pretty cool spot, and teams sometimes, I think, can kind of get carried away.
And the Lakers with possession here, trailing by 4. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Near the three-point line, it's Nelson, and he buries that one, drilling the rim on the way down.
Well, I'll bet his teammates love playing with him. He's distributing the ball perfectly.
Well, he keeps everybody happy, and you know what? The assist numbers don't lie.
Now here's Kobe. He has 7. Here's Gasol. Drops it in from 11 feet. There's 37 seconds left to play here in the half. Nelson kicks to Howard. To the left side wing. 3-pointer. Piétrus. That's good. And so Howard with the assist. Piétrus has got 10 points.
And assists like that have typified their effort today. Great ball movement.
Really an example of the difference in how these teams have operated offensively. Much more individual play at the other end.
Now here's Gasol. Outside Gasol. 5 on the clock, and the Lakers tack on 2 more.
Smart. Use that big height advantage. Get the shot off.
Well, it's hard to put a big man on him skis that far from the hoop. I mean, he's versatile. Took advantage of some shoddy defense there. They've got to at least get a finger on him.
And that concludes the first half. Magic lead by 7. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Yes, guys, I've got Jameer Nelson. And Jameer, what's going to be the focus of the second half?
Keeping the ball in our hands and making decisions that gives us good shots. I think when we do that, we shoot a high percentage, as you can see. The games that in the half that we are bad is when we turn the ball over a lot.
Jameer, thank you. Guys, looking to cut down those turnovers.
Thanks so much, Doris, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back in there for the start of the third quarter after this break.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Welcome, I'm Damon Bruce. A great game going on out at Staples Center. At the midway point, the Magic are playing well. A nice job of sharing the rock, making plays for one another offensively. Certainly an impressive start by Mickaël Piétrus. He's got 10 points and 3 rebounds as well. And on the other hand, the Lakers are still alive. They've been relentless attacking the rim, dominating in points in the paint, and the bodies down low have been banging away. Kobe certainly playing well so far. At the break, 7 points and some nice plays offensively, getting the assists going. That'll wrap things up for me here in the studio. Thanks so much. I'm Damon Bruce. Now let's get back out to Kevin Harlan for the second half of play.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Now the second half about to start up and begin any moment. It's been one outstanding game from Jameer Nelson.
How about his first half? Just easily surpassing his average point total.
On pace for a monster game. Too bad he can't score like this every night. Boy, it was a wreck of a season for the Magic last year. Started off decently, but then it went downhill fast. 10-game losing streak, followed shortly again with a 12-game losing streak. Surprisingly, they did play well against the West, though.
Magic leading by 5. Howard setting the pick for Türkoğlu. Gasol with the steal. Bryant against Piétrus. Bryant passes to Fisher. Just 5 on the clock. Los Angeles needs to get off a shot here. They get it back. Bynum. Excellent D there from Lewis. Orlando's gone 5 of 8 from three-point land. 15 points and a deep ball for them tonight. Piétrus with it. Picked up by Bryant. Türkoğlu dishes to Nelson. Lewis outside. Feeds to Piétrus. And Andrew Bynum pulls it down. Bynum's got his 5th rebound in this one. And Clark, as you said, probably the last thing anyone expected last season was for the Magic to do well against the West. But it happened, Steve. Half their wins came out of the conference.
Yeah, they actually had a winning record against the Pacific Division, believe it or not. I think some of that is that the Western teams kind of took Orlando for granted, particularly on the road. But look, in the end, it doesn't matter what your record is in conference, against divisions, against the league. What it's about is your total record, and they're looking to get better.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Guys, dominant centers often take a pounding with intentional fouls. Dwight Howard admits that for a long time, he'd get frustrated when he didn't get the calls from the officials. And from 2010 to 2011, he led the league in technical fouls. The last 2 seasons, he's dialed it down. But he did draw criticism for getting kicked out of a game in the playoffs. He said, when I allow those petty things to get to me, it affects my teammates and we lose games. I've got to do a better job of keeping my composure, to affect the game and not let the game affect me. Guys, he's made strides, but he's got to continue to put that perspective into action.
Well, Doris, interesting how that mental discipline and training can help sometimes as much as the physical side. Thank you. And stolen by Fisher. All going up court and finished off by Gasol.
Well, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark dunk.
Oh, guys, this is just too close in the game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Yes, I was able to listen in on what Jacques Vaughn was going over with his team. He thinks they could be doing much better work on the defensive glass, and he let his guys know it. He wants to see them crash the boards hard from this point forward. He also told them to get tough. He said, let's make this one a very physical game. Probably a good time to make some changes with a good chunk of the second half still to go, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. And the Lakers call time here.
And, you know, for the Lakers last season, a lot of turmoil. And you think about the coaching change, but it wasn't just that. It was a whole system change as well. And the front office felt the Princeton offense they started using wasn't working out. So they were in a state of flux all season long.
Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. Oh, and they get in the way of the alley-oop. Not to be. Good play defensively. Piétrus against Fisher. Tries to snap the cold streak. A nice shot by Howard. And the Magic lead by 3. And going back to the Princeton offense that Clark mentioned, Steve, tell us about that offense and why do you think it didn't work out?
Well, they only gave it 5 games, Kevin. I mean, Mike Brown was 1-4 when he got fired, and that's impossible to install an offense and expect it to work that quickly. So, I mean, I think the offense would have been fine if they had given it time and given Mike Brown some time to install it.
Lakers shooting their second and third shots at the line right here.
Well, you look at last season's numbers, guys, down below 70% as a team from the line.
And I know the free throw shooting is an area they focused on improving coming into this season.
No good on the free throw.
Bynum having a terrific game. He has 8 points, and he's rejected a shot over the course of the game, too.
That seems like it could have been more because he's been in position to make plays defensively most of the game.
He hits the second from the line.
You know, offensively last season, guys, the Lakers just never seemed to be able to get out of their own way. I mean, they had the worst turnover ratio in the league, and they really struggled to take care of the ball. And even when they got up a shot, a lot of them were questionable shots. They shot the third most threes in the league, but were in the bottom half of the league in percentage. Those are exactly the kind of hustle plays that can really spark a team. That's solid work down in the paint area.
And Fisher kicks to Bryant. Looking for Gasol. He gets it there. That's good. Gasol's got 4 points now in the quarter. And going back to the Lakers' offensive troubles last season, the worst free throw percentage, Steve, in the NBA.
And obviously that's attributed directly to Dwight Howard because the Lakers also led the league in free throw attempts. So Howard was getting hacked. He really couldn't get it going. He made about half his free throws for the season. And that just really carried over into the team's performance.
Here's Fisher after Hedo Türkoğlu score. Nelson with the steal. And, oh, here we go. Türkoğlu's got it. The fast break chance. And Nelson gets it to go.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. That's losing basketball.
And especially when you can't afford to give up any buckets. That pushes this lead up instead of going the other way.
And here is Los Angeles now after the made shot from Jameer Nelson. That one's good, and the Magic lead is cut back down to 4 with the made basket from World Peace. The Magic have gone 4-6 from the field since the start of the third. Nelson against Fisher. Nelson off the pick from Lewis. Here's Piétrus. The basket good off the assist from Nelson. Nelson's got 5 assists in the game.
He shot the ball exceptionally well as they've built this lead for themselves here.
Nelson against Fisher. He lobs up the alley-oop pass and finished off by Gasol.
You can see the eye contact there. Gave a little nod and then burst to the rim for the alley-oop slam.
No doubt, Clark. both a pair of teammates with a terrific feel for each other out on the floor.
And what a play to make in a close game, a potential momentum builder.
Now, here is Nelson. 12 points for him. In low to Howard.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
15 seconds left to play in the third. Now Fisher. Dishes to Gasol. 3 seconds left. And there's the nice lay. An excellent work for Fisher. Fisher's got his third basket of the night right there.
Really tough to get that shot off with the size differential there. It's not an individual matchup he's going to win every time, especially in the post.
Very well done. I didn't think he had any business operating down there with the big fellas.
And that's it for the third quarter. Both teams scoring well as we head to the fourth. It's the Magic up by 4. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports. And that's it for the third quarter. Both teams scoring well as we head to the fourth. And, Steve, we've got a moment here to go to our State Farm assist of the game, coming on some very clever point guard play.
Well, he mans that position for a reason, Kevin, because he passes the ball so well, sets up his teammates beautifully, really gets this offense into a nice rhythm.
Delivering the pass important, but putting the pass in the right place for shooters, as you well know, huge.
Yeah, no question.
Orlando leading by 4. Türkoğlu right side. In low to Howard. Ball's knocked loose. Bynum with the steal. Bryant in the post. Covered by Piétrus. Cody gets the bucket.
So those are key baskets. We know who can deliver down the stretch.
Orlando's gone 5-9 and they put up a 3-point shot tonight. Nelson, the pass to Howard. Bynum with the block. Here's Fisher. Pass to World Peace to take the lead. And that one's good. And the Lakers lead by 1. And we'll get a look at how the hustle-stop game has been going for Los Angeles.
Their defense has been outstanding, Kevin. Closing out on shots, blocking a lot of them as well.
And, Steve, we can't fail to mention all the steals they piled up, too. I mean, that's making a big difference. They've really gotten into them defensively.
Howard, open and close and nails it. Guys, what a game. 8 lead changes here.
Yeah, nobody giving up any ground either way, fella.
And don't be surprised if this comes down to the final possession. It just kind of has that feel tonight, doesn't it?
Timeout called the Lakers. Find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Hey, Kevin, I was able to hear the advice Mike D'Antoni gave to his team during that break. He told his guys, time's running low. If we're going to make our move, it's going to be now. Are you guys ready? And as they nodded, he said, let's go get it. Kevin?
Fisher against Nelson. About a minute and a half through the fourth quarter now. And Fisher kicks to Kobe. Again, Los Angeles.
What a great battle these teams are waging today.
Yeah, you get the feeling, Steve, the game could swing on just 1 or 2 plays down the stretch.
Time call here. The Magic decide to talk it over. Kobe Bryant really making a difference here.
He's really taking it to him inside. They got to find a way to slow him down.
And we've made our way through just over a minute and a half in this fourth quarter. Lewis, a screen on Fisher. Here's Nelson. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Time running low, guys, and somebody has got to win this one.
You know, quite honestly, Kevin and Steve, I mean, this game, as close as it's been, I really hate to see it come to an end.
I agree.
Well, then let's root for overtime. Why not?
Orlando trailing here. Türkoğlu dishes to Howard. Six to shoot. Pass to Lewis. And he drops it in from the low post.
Wow, this has been a thriller. I mean, the way these teams are battling, just going back and forth.
Would you like to bet that this game may end on a buzzer beater? How much would you bet?
That's out of bounds. The Lakers able to retain possession here.
Now, that pass had just a little bit too much heat on it for him to make a clean steal.
Yeah, I think it would have been a tough catch for either of them.
A little over 2.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth quarter. And Fisher kicks to Kobe. And he gets the bucket. Bryant's got 10 points in just the second half.
What a beautiful play inside, using that height advantage to just lay the ball up and in when they really needed a basket.
Fisher against Nelson. Lewis passes to Howard. Back to Lewis. Nelson kicks to Howard. Hyman with the steal. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Magic will take it.
Oh, that certainly could be costly. In a close one, those kinds of mistakes can really give the other team momentum.
Now a timeout called by Orlando. They're behind by 1. 1:49 left in the fourth quarter. And let's get this update now from Doris. Burke is across the way on the sideline.
Hey, Kevin, I was able to hear the advice Mickaël gave to his team during that break. He was intent on running the offense through Kobe. Their offense will be more effective, Coach said, if they get him more involved. And knowing what he brings to the table, that usually holds true. The other point he made was about defensive rebounding. He wants his guys to crash the glass and go after every rebound. He doesn't want to give up any second chance opportunities. It's pretty late in the game to be altering the game plan, but they're going to come out with a different look here, guys. Back to you.
Thanks again, Doris.
Just a fantastic game for Nelson. He has 14 points and a huge helping of assists as well.
Now, he's a maestro, Clark. I mean, the conductor of this offense, putting on a fantastic performance.
One, and that ties the game up. Good on both free throws, and that gives them the lead.
Well, he's definitely the guy they want at the line in this situation. He loves these kinds of moments.
Timeout called the Lakers. They're down by 1. 1:46 left to play in the final quarter. Left in the game. Stolen by Türkoğlu. Lewis on the wing, defended by Gasol. Lewis kicks to Howard, and is blocked by Bryant. Out of bounds as Orlando keeps possession. Here's Lewis. Near the three-point line, it's Nelson. And right on target. Good.
Boy, he quieted the crowd with that big shot. That's a big play.
Yeah, the crowd's been hoping for something to cheer for, but nothing.
Now here's Bryant. Fires from 18. Rebounded by Howard. Howard's got his third rebound tonight. Nelson with it. Picked up by Bryant. Nelson dishes to Piétrus. Nelson against Bryant. Howard, the pass to Türkoğlu. Good ball movement here by the Magic. Clock at 4. Here's Nelson, and the shot clock expires. Great D to stop and pull.
cannot afford to make mistakes like that here in a tight game.
There's 53 seconds left in the game. Bryant with a screen on Nelson. Bynum gets to Gasol. Stolen by Lewis. And here we go. Here's Piétrus. Money!
Well, their defense making an impact here late, Kevin.
And straight off the steal, Clark. A perfectly run fast break ends in the slam dunk.
That could be a huge 4-point swing in this game.
Now here's Kobe. Bynum inside. Rebounded by Howard. And so they foul intentionally. He drops the first one, and that increases their lead to 6. So he gets them both, and it's a 7-point game.
He adds to their lead with a couple of solid free throws.
Los Angeles calls timeout. They're trailing by 7. 26 seconds left in the game. .26 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And Kobe, here we go. Here's world peace. Cut! And now they tie by just 4.
He had his head on the swivel and was able to pick out the pass and get the assist.
And they stop the clock as soon as they can with the intentional foul.
Yeah, you got to freeze the clock. That's the enemy in this situation.
A few misses at the line, and they're in good shape.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. And he ends up making the second, and that puts them up by 5. The Lakers have gone 6 of 8 from the field in the fourth so far. It's been a great start to this final quarter for them.
Didn't matter when he was surrounded. He was the guy who muscled everybody else out of the way to get that board.
Doesn't hit the first, and that was the one they really want. He's got one more, though. And no good on the second free throw, so he goes 0 for 2 there. There's for 3. Shot misses. And so it's Orlando winning this one. It was a solid win, Clark.
Yeah, it was, and I think it came down to will more than skill. They went out and got this one.
Thanks for tuning in to the NBA on 2K Sports. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. We'll see you next time. And now, our Jordan player of the game, Jameer Nelson.